Yep.
Let me ask you a question. How do other doctors feel about your take?
You're a really good interviewer. Thank you. These are
Thank
great
you.
questions. You're killing it. These
I
are the tougher,
appreciate it.
these are the tougher questions I ever have to answer. That's a good one. So I think that I don't get very much overt pushback from my doctor friends, but the truth is their livelihood is threatened if what I'm saying is right. And I am really
Right.
compassionate about that. These are my homies. These are my peeps,
Right.
man. I went to school with them. They're my friends. I'm good with them.
For sure.
But what I'm saying is not very controversial. It's just not that arguable.
Right.
Are you gonna argue back that the mental health system is working?
Right. Who's gonna who's gonna do that?
Are you really gonna look at me and tell me that it's okay?
Well, Big Pharma would probably. They're probably the only ones that would agree.
That
But
it's
Big
working.
Pharma is not an entity. Big Pharma is inert. There's no such thing as
Right.
Big Pharma. The people who work for pharmacology who make a lot of money, they make a lot of money because they sit in a laboratory and pack medicine or research medicine or come up with lies about medicine or whatever they do. They're not here driving the lines around the block for the people who are there who can't wait to get their medicine every single month so they can continue to detox it to drive toxins down their throat.
Right.
That isn't big pharma. There's no such thing as big pharma. You have to keep that in mind. That's like saying government. So that doesn't
Got it.
mean anything.
Okay. What is your take on holistic medicine? But what I'm referring to is more like mushrooms, ayahuasca, marijuana.
Great question again.
What do you think
So,
about that?
yeah, these are great questions. So I think there's a real value to those until they get into the hands of so-called big pharma. I think
Got it.
once they get identified inside the hands and inside the machine, then all of a sudden you're going to have contraindications. You're going to have drug interactions. You're going to have dosage levels. You're going to have all sorts of things that putting like ayahuasca in a capsule or different strains of cannabis or whatever they're doing with MDMA or psilocybin. My concern is that in those hands we start having to apply this level of so-called the rhetoric that came out of the industry is going to be applied, and we're going to have to use terminology that doesn't take into consideration the mystical and mysterious value of the plant medicine world. The idea that plant medicine takes us out into really understanding infinity and eternity and divinity and that death isn't real and all of those things. When we start getting that, if you walk into an emergency room and you say those things, you will be considered psychotic.
Yes.
So they're going to have to work. That's never going to be part of medicine, that it's okay to know that there's no such thing as death, for instance, or it's okay to know that God is real, or it's okay to know that there's such thing as divinity and eternity and expansiveness. So I love the shaman aspects of these medicines and the ceremonial aspects. In good hands, they're totally life-changing. What do I think they do? What I think they do at the foundational level, they alter what we think reality is, so that the honest to goodness legitimacy of, let's say, our depression or anxiety, we become so focused on the idea that we are depressed because what we wanted to happen didn't happen, or we're anxious because we're afraid of the future. What happens in the switching of the foundation of ayahuasca and psilocybin, MDMA, and cannabis, and all the journey medicines, including ketamine, by the way, and LSD, the laboratory medicine, is that reality gets shifted. The baseline of reality gets shifted. And when you come back from those journeys, you might learn that the shit you used to think bothered you doesn't bother you anymore because it didn't matter in the first place.
Right.
It just doesn't fit into your new way of thinking. And why did you get that new way of thinking? Because things got shuffled at the gross foundational level while you were out there.